Honourable member for Calgary Buffalo, followed by Strathcona.
Well, let me build on those questions. One of the key promises made by the Premier was that her government would build 50 new schools by 2016. 2 years into this mandate, not a single hole is being dug, no cement poured, ne'er a nail pounded. I remind you, Mr. Speaker, it takes 3 years to physically build a school. Clearly, and in no uncertain terms, this government will fail to complete even one of these promised schools, much less 50. So to the Minister of Infrastructure, will you please come clean with the Alberta public and admit that these 50 new schools will not be complete by 2016?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the honourable member's concern, but I would ask him to look at a little bit more information. I took the time on Friday last week to go through a school in Airdrie that's under construction. It's almost finished, another couple of months, Mr. Speaker, and the fact is, Mr. Speaker, after about 16 months, the school is almost complete.
You know, I would have thought that constructing schools would be a very serious question, requiring a serious answer. We've had one. Let's wait for the other one here. These interjections have to stop, folks. Please, let's show some respect for each other. Honourable Minister, would you like to start over?
Mr. Speaker, and I'll finish my thought. The fact is, there's examples right now of schools built well under 2 years. That's what we're challenged to do. There's no doubt it's a challenge. But, Mr. Speaker, the Premier and this government promised under the Building Alberta plan to get those schools done, and we are working feverishly to do so.
Honourable Member.
Well, the answer given by the Minister of Infrastructure is simply laughable. Given that this government's own documents show an $800 million shortfall in funding of these new schools, how is the minister going to pay the construction workers to build these schools? With IOUs?
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to re-answer the question I asked 3 questions ago, because the honourable member clearly needs to hear it twice to get it through whatever it has to get through. Mr. Speaker, the fact is, Mr. Speaker, the 50 and 70 schools are in the plan. When we will do the contracts, we will work out, decide whether they're P3s or otherwise, Mr. Speaker. We will get the schools built. And, Mr. Speaker, as those contracts get firmed up, whether we decide P3s, which could be paid out over 30 years, or as the Walrose suggests, it could be quicker under the other plan. As we do that, we will update the numbers, because today the numbers don't.
Edmonton, Strathcona, followed by Cypress Bend. Oh, I'm sorry, one more supplemental. My apologies.
Mr. Speaker, given that it takes 3 years to build a new school, that would take us to 2017 if the government started building them today. And given that even a kindergarten student knows it takes money to build schools, and this government doesn't have any, will the minister just admit that these schools will not be built by 2016? It's a pretty easy answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'll repeat again, under the Building Alberta plan, we've promised to do it. It's in our business plan. It's in our budget, Mr. Speaker. We'll get it done. But I'll actually give this honourable member credit for one thing, Mr. Speaker. He's quite forward in public about saying he wants to raise taxes to build the infrastructure. Under this Premier and this government, we're going to do it without raising taxes, Mr. Speaker, because that's what Albertans want.